Everything's Archie again on Terrific TV Toys. Do you remember how Archie drove that beaten up red Jalopy? Well, did you know that Jughead drove a Volkswagen Bug? It was so exciting to see these Archie cars appear at the local Burger King back in 1991 as part of the Kids Club Kids Meals, because back then it was a little tough to find Archie's merchandise. This was years before ArchieComics.com and that whole assortment of shopping options that they gave you at the website. And so to find stuff with Archie, Betty, Jughead, Veronica, like you see here in the 4 core characters in these cars, it was a little tough. Now, as far as what was going on with TV shows, the new Archies had been on the air in 1987 for a few years. Saturday morning, I remember watching that when I was in college. But the Archie characters were junior high age. They were not driving yet, so they didn't really influence these. But then a few years later, you had Archie's Weird Mysteries in 1999, which was the regular teenage Archie gang. And then, of course, years before that, beginning in 1968 with the Archie Show, you had lots of different animated series by Filmation and all of that through the ensuing years, late 1960s and early 1970s. And we talked about that a little bit in a previous episode of Terrific TV Toys when we took a look at the Marx dolls, the 8 or 9 inch Marx dolls from the mid-1970s that featured these same 4 core characters. You could argue that Reggie Mantle, as I said in that episode too, Reggie Mantle probably could have been put in for one of these, the non-Archie characters, because he's a pretty big character. But a lot of people would argue, who are true Archie fans, and I'm a lifelong Archie's fan, love Archies. A lot of people would argue that these 4 are it. These are the main Archie characters through time, so I can see why they chose them. So let's take a look at each one of these cars individually. I will note that these are the kind of cars where you kind of rev them up and you let them go. They go. So you back them up, you catch them on the wheels, and then they go. Now this is Archie's Jalopy. Archie is known for this red Jalopy. It was featured in the comics as his vehicle for many, many, many years. It was originally a 1916 Ford Model T Jalopy, and he called it Betsy. I always wondered, why did they choose for him to call it Betsy when that's so much like Betty's name? Would that be confusing? I don't know. But the car was called Betsy. And later in the comics, it was said to be a Model A. Now, in the newer comics, I believe from about the mid-1980s on, they finally got rid of the Jalopy. They decided the rattly-old, dilapidated Jalopy had to go, and so Archie started driving a Ford Mustang. Quite an upgrade. I will note, too, on those TV shows that I mentioned, the Archie Show in 1968, Archie's Funhouse, TV funnies that came along later. The Jalopy that you saw Archie riding around in, driving with all of his friends, was actually yellow, and it had kind of a reddish-orange trim and fender and all that. And you can see that the Marx dolls that I mentioned from an earlier episode, those Marx dolls have a big plastic Jalopy that you can put them in that matches the colors of the Jalopy on those TV shows, those early Filmation TV shows. So interesting that they made the Jalopy that color on the TV show and then copied it for the Marx toys, but we've got the traditional red Jalopy that Archie is in for this toy. So I'll turn it around so you can see each angle, and Archie's in there and he's got his smile on his face. And below, underneath, it's got the Burger King Kids Club logo, and it's got a copyright for Archie Comics Publications. Let me see. Archie Comic Publications, Inc., copyright 1991, so that's Archie. We got Betty. Now, Archie, of course, the Jalopy was true to his character on TV and in comic books. The other three vehicles, well, each of these characters were shown driving different cars, but there's no set car that is their trademark like this Jalopy is for Archie. So I think each of these three that were chosen for these three toys really just reflect their personality. Probably of the three, Veronica's is closest to what you saw in the comics or on any of the TV shows with her little sports car there. But anyways, Betty, she's got like the 57 Chevy type thing going on. In fact, when you turn this one over, you see not only the copyright notice for Archie Comic Publications, but there's also a little imprint here, 1990 copyright for General Motors Corporation. So a little acknowledgement there for what kind of car this was. And I guess this reflects Betty's style. She knows how to fix cars. So she might get into a classic car like this that she could keep in running order and driving around. So there's Betty. She's so sweet. She's got her ponytail, which is what you almost always saw her with. Always with that ponytail. And then again, this is one of those cars that back it up and watch it go. Jughead with his bug. Jug with the bug, I don't know. Yeah, it kind of fits his personality, doesn't it? This one, even though it's clearly a bug, it doesn't have like a Volkswagen notice or anything on the bottom. I'm not sure why that is. It's just got the Burger King Kids Club logo and then the Archie Comics copyright, as I mentioned. But it's a green, kind of funky bug, reflecting his eclectic personality. He's got his trademark hat on and a goofy look on his face and sort of a purplish blue shirt. And you can see all angles on that. And again, back him up and let him go. Then we got Ronnie. Look at Ronnie here. She's got a purple sports car. And I'm not a car person, forgive me, but because General Motors also has a copyright on the bottom of this one, I'm assuming it's like a Corvette-ish is what we're trying to go for here. And definitely, oh yeah, look at the taillights, I think it is. Definitely, that's what Ronnie would be driving. In fact, maybe it's a little too American for her. She would have something exotic and foreign. But that's our Veronica with the lovely necklace on and the strapless gown, and look at those matching earrings. So fun. She is such a debutante. So, there's Ronnie going off to the party or wherever. Very cool set of Archie cars, and can't believe it's been almost 25 years since I did not walk to my local Burger King to get these. I didn't care how many kids' meals I had to eat to get all four.